The sky above Crystal Haven burned red. Explosions lit up the atmosphere every few seconds. Commander Velthor stood at the observation deck and watched his world die. His crystalline body flickered with dim blue light. It was the color of sadness for his people. How long? He asked his officer. 3 days. Maybe 4, the officer replied. The shields will fail. Then they will land. Then we all die. Velthor had watched the Krath swarm destroy 4 other worlds. His people were peaceful. They built beautiful cities. They created art and music. They studied the stars. But they did not know how to fight a war like this. The Krath were machines. They did not negotiate. They did not stop. They only consumed. His fleet was gone. Millions of his people had already died. The remaining Valorians huddled in underground shelters, waiting for the end. Velthor had sent messages across the galaxy. Desperate calls for help. No one answered. Why would they? The Valorians had nothing to offer. They were already dead. Sir, we have a response, a technician said suddenly. Velthor turned. What? A message. From a species called humans. They say they are coming. How many ships? 3 transport ships. 1 battalion. About 800 soldiers. Velthor's light flickered. 800? We have lost millions. What can 800 do? The technician looked at the data. They say they will help anyway. Velthor felt something strange. Not hope. He did not dare hope. But something else. Curiosity, perhaps. Who were these humans? Why would they come to die with the Valorians? 3 days later, the human ships arrived. They did not come in careful formation like Valorian ships. They came in fast, spinning, dodging. The Krath blockade fired thousands of shots. The human ships released small drones that exploded, creating chaos. They used fake signals. They moved in patterns that made no sense. 2 ships got through. The third exploded, but not before launching all its troops in emergency pods. 763 human soldiers reached the surface. Velthor went to meet them at the landing zone. He expected tall warriors. Maybe beings made of metal like the Krath. What he saw confused him. They were small, shorter than Valorians, soft-looking. They wore bulky armor and carried heavy weapons. Their faces were smooth, with 2 eyes that moved constantly, watching everything. One human stepped forward. He removed his helmet. His face was young, with dark hair and eyes. His skin was tan. I am Lieutenant Taiho Kim, Terran Expeditionary Force. We received your call for help. Velthor studied him. You are all that came. We are all that could be spared, Taiho said. His voice was calm. But we are here. We will fight. You will die, Velthor said. It was not cruel. It was simply true. We have lost millions. You are less than 1,000. Taiho smiled. It was a strange expression. Not happy, but determined. Humans are hard to kill. You will see. The Krath attacked that same night. Thousands of drones swarmed the human position. Velthor watched from his command center. He expected to see the humans die quickly. Instead, he saw something he did not understand. The humans dug into the ground. They built walls of metal and concrete in hours. They placed their weapons in overlapping patterns. When the Krath came, the humans fired everything at once. A human named Minho controlled the heavy weapons. He was big, with broad shoulders and scars on his face. His plasma cannon fired continuously. Explosions tore through the Krath lines. Come on, he shouted. Is that all you got? Another human, a woman named Hana, worked in the medical station. She was calm and quick. When wounded Valorians were brought to her, she studied their crystalline bodies. Their structure is different. she said to her team. But I can work with this. Get me sealant gel and light-frequency stabilizers. A third human, a woman named Yuna, sat surrounded by computers. She intercepted Krath signals. Her fingers moved fast across the controls. They communicate in patterns, she said. If I can disrupt the pattern, I can confuse them. Taiho moved between positions. He was everywhere at once. When a section of wall was breached, he was there with reinforcements. When ammunition ran low, he redistributed supplies. When a Valorian officer panicked, Taiho grabbed him and looked into his glowing eyes. Listen to me, Taiho said. Fear is normal. We all feel it, but we do not let it control us. You fight anyway. You understand? The Valorian officer flickered with orange light. Confusion. You are afraid? Terrified, Taiho said honestly. But I am here anyway. That is what humans do. The battle lasted 6 hours. When the Krath finally pulled back, the human perimeter still stood. The Valorians counted the bodies. Over 4,000 Krath drones destroyed. 12 humans dead. 23 wounded. Velther came to the human position. Taiho was drinking water, his armor scorched and dented. You held, Velther said. We did, Taiho replied. How? The tactical analysis said you should have been overrun in 1 hour. Taiho looked at him. Analysis is good, but sometimes you just refuse to lose. You fight harder. You adapt. You do not accept defeat. This is human strategy? This is human stubbornness, Taiho said. He smiled that strange smile again. You called for help. We came. We do not leave until the job is done. Velther's body pulsed with yellow light. It was the closest his people came to laughter. You are either very brave or very foolish. Usually both, Taiho said. He stood and picked up his rifle. Now, let's talk about how we are going to win this war. Velther stared at him. Win? We cannot win. Not with that attitude, Taiho said. Get me your tactical maps. I want to see everything. Every Krath position. Every weakness. We are going to teach you how humans fight. For the first time in months, Velther felt something stir in his chest. It might have been hope. Or maybe it was just madness. But watching these strange, stubborn creatures who refused to accept the inevitable, he thought that maybe, just maybe, they had a chance. The planning room was crowded. Taiho, Minho, Hannah, and Yuna stood around the holographic display. Velther and Kelshar represented the Valorians. They were looking at a three-dimensional model of the Krath Nexus ship. It is a fortress, Velther said. Automated defenses everywhere. Thousands of drones inside. The core is here. He pointed at the center of the ship. Destroying it will disable the entire swarm in this system. But reaching it is impossible. You keep using that word, Minho said. Impossible. We do not believe in it. Yuna manipulated the display. I have mapped their patrol patterns. There is a weak point here. She highlighted a docking bay. Minimal defenses. They use it for receiving raw materials from the planet. We captured 3 Krath transport ships last week, Taiho said. We can use them to approach. They will not suspect their own ships. Once inside? Kelshar asked. Then we fight our way to the core, Taiho said simply. 100 human commandos. 500 Valorian warriors. We plan a fusion warhead at the core. Set it for 15 minutes. Get out before it explodes. Hannah looked worried. The radiation inside will be dangerous. The Krath use unstable power sources. My medical supplies are limited. We know the risks, Taiho said. Everyone who goes understands. This is volunteer only. I volunteer, Kelshar said immediately. As do I, said a Valorian named Nari. She was small but fierce. A communication specialist? More hands went up. More lights pulsed. Within an hour, they had their strike force. Everyone knew it was a one-way mission. But they went anyway. The 3 transport ships launched at midnight. Taiho commanded the first ship. Minho the second. Kelshar the third. They approached the Nexus slowly, broadcasting Krath identification codes that Yuna had stolen. 2 kilometers, Nari reported. They are scanning us. Everyone held their breath. If the craft detected them now, they would be destroyed before getting close. 1 kilometer. Scan complete. They are opening the docking bay. The ships glided inside. The bay was massive, large enough to hold 100 ships. Automated arms moved around, processing materials. Drones worked in patterns. The moment the bay doors closed, the humans and Valorians poured out. They moved fast. Weapons ready. Alarms screamed. The Krath had detected them. Drones appeared from every direction. The battle started immediately. Move! Move! Taiho shouted. His team cleared a path with grenades and plasma fire. The Valorians followed, their weapons cutting through drone armor. Minho's heavy weapons team set up a defensive position. Go! We will hold here. His cannons roared. Explosions shook the deck. Dozens of drones fell. Come on, you metal bastards. Come get some. The strike force split into 3 groups. Each took a different route to the core. The idea was simple. Even if 2 groups failed, one might get through. Taiho's group moved through dark corridors. The ship's interior was strange. All metal and cables. No light except what their equipment provided. Drones attacked from side passages. From above. From below, a human named Doyun was hit. He went down. Hana rushed to him. Keep going. Doyun gasped. Do not stop for me. We never leave anyone, Hana said. She dragged him into cover. A Valorian named Kiwan stayed with them. He provided covering fire while Hana worked. Her hands moved quickly. Field medicine. Stop the bleeding. Stabilize. You will live, she told Doyun. But you are staying here. Kiwan will guard you. Yes, ma'am, Doyun said weakly. Kelshar's group encountered a massive defensive wall. Drones lined up behind energy shields. We cannot break through, a Valorian said. Yes, we can, Kelshar said. He had learned from the humans. Concentrated fire. All weapons on 1 point. On my mark. 3, 2, 1, fire. Every weapon fired at the same spot. The shield flickered, cracked, shattered. The drones behind it were exposed. The Valorians rushed forward. Hand-to-hand combat. Crystalline fists against metal bodies. The Valorians were not warriors by nature, but they had learned. They fought with everything they had. Minho's group reached a junction point. This is it, he said. Core is straight ahead. Maybe 500 meters. But the Krath had concentrated their forces. Thousands of drones blocked the path. The corridor was a killing ground. We cannot get through, his lieutenant said. Minho looked at the fusion warhead they carried. It was heavy, powerful. Someone needed to get it to the core. He made a decision. I will take it, he said. Sergeant, that is suicide. I know. Minho checked his ammunition. Full magazines. He had prepared for this. Get everyone out. I will deliver the package. Minho, no, came Hannah's voice over the radio. She had been monitoring communications. We can find another way. There is no time, Minho said. He smiled, even though no one could see it. This is what humans do. We finished the mission. Tell Taiho? Tell him it was an honor. Before anyone could stop him, Minho grabbed the warhead and ran. He fired as he moved. Grenades cleared the path. His armor absorbed dozens of hits. He kept going, running, shooting, refusing to stop. Tae-ho heard the explosion over the radio. Minho! Status. Silence. Then Kelshar's voice. He made it. The warhead is at the core. Timer is set. 14 minutes. Everyone out. Tae-ho ordered. Move! Move! They ran, through corridors, past destroyed drones. The ship's alarms were deafening. The craft knew what was happening. They tried to stop the retreat, but Kelshar's group provided covering fire. This way, Nari shouted. She had found a faster route. The survivors followed her. 8 minutes left. They reached the docking bay, but the ships were damaged. Craft fire had destroyed 2 of them. Only one remained functional. It cannot carry everyone, the pilot said. Then we make multiple trips, Tae-ho said. No time, Kelshar said. He looked at the timer. 7 minutes. Load the humans and the wounded Valorians. We will hold the bay. You will die, Tae-ho said. Maybe, maybe not. Kelshar pulsed with bright colors. Pride. Determination. You taught us to fight. Now let us fight. Go. That is an order. Tae-ho wanted to argue, but the clock was ticking. He grabbed Kelshar's crystalline shoulder. You better survive. We are not done teaching you. Then we will see you on the surface, Kelshar said. The ship launched. Tae-ho watched through the viewport as Kelshar and 50 Valorian warriors formed a defensive line. They were buying time. Precious seconds. 3 minutes. The ship cleared the Nexus. 2 minutes. They reached minimum safe distance. 1 minute. The Nexus exploded. A massive fireball in space. The shockwave hit their ship, sending it spinning. The pilot fought for control. They stabilized. Any survivors? Hannah asked. Silence. Long, terrible silence. Then the radio crackled. This is Kelshar. We made it to an escape pod. 32 of us. We are alive. Cheers erupted. Tae-ho felt tears on his face. He did not bother to wipe them away. Good job, Kelshar, he said. Welcome back. In space, the craft swarm began to fail. Without the Nexus to coordinate them, the drones became confused. They fired at random, crashed into each other. The Valorian fleet, reformed and reinforced, began the systematic destruction of the remaining ships. The tide had turned. Crystal Haven was saved, but Minho was gone, and that victory came with a price they would never forget. The next morning, Tae-ho gathered the Valorian officers in the command center. He spread maps across the table. Minho stood beside him, arms crossed. Hannah and Yuna were there too. The Valorians flickered with different colors, uncertain what to expect. Your tactics are beautiful, Tae-ho said. Precise, calculated, perfect formations. A Valorian officer named Kelshar pulsed with pride. Thank you. They are also getting you killed, Tae-ho continued. The craft do not care about beauty. They care about efficiency. You need to stop fighting like artists and start fighting like survivors. The Valorians dimmed, in salt colors. But Kelshar leaned forward. What do you suggest? Tae-ho pointed at the map. You always retreat when the math says you will lose. Right, of course. Logical preservation of forces. Stop doing that, Minho said. His voice was rough. Sometimes you hold ground even when the numbers are bad. Make them pay for every meter. Make them waste resources. Make them think twice about attacking you. That is illogical, another Valorian said. We would take unnecessary casualties. Hannah spoke up. Her voice was gentler. You are already taking casualties. Retreating just delays death. Sometimes standing and fighting gives you a chance. A small one, but a chance. Yuna activated a hologram. I have been studying the Krath communication patterns. They operate on predictive algorithms. They expect you to do the logical thing. When you do something unexpected, they have to recalculate. That creates windows of opportunity. Taiho nodded. We call it chaos tactics. You be unpredictable. You ambush. You hit and run. You make them afraid. Machines do not feel fear, Kalshar said. No, but they can be confused, Yuna replied. Confusion is close enough. The training began immediately. Taiho took a group of Valorian soldiers to the ruins outside the city. He taught them how to hide, how to wait, how to strike from shadows. Your bodies glow, he said. That is a problem for ambush tactics. Can you dim your light? The Valorians practiced. It was difficult. Their light was tied to their emotions. But slowly, they learned to control it. To become Shadows. Minho trained the heavy weapons teams. He showed them how to create kill zones, how to funnel enemies into traps. Do not spread out evenly, he shouted. Concentrate fire. Overwhelm one section. Break their formation. He demonstrated with a captured craft drone. His team fired in sequence, each shot hitting the same point. The drone's armor cracked, then shattered. See? Focused damage. Now you try. The Valorians practiced. At first, their timing was off. But they learned fast. Their precise nature helped them coordinate. Soon they were firing in perfect synchronization. Hannah worked with the Valorian medics. She showed them human medical techniques. Your people heal by light resonance, she said. But you can also use physical supports, braces, sealants. Think of your bodies as both energy and matter. A wounded Valorian was brought in. His leg was cracked, leaking light. Traditional treatment would take days. Hannah wrapped the leg in a special gel that hardened. Then she used a light frequency device to stimulate healing. The Valorian was walking in 2 hours. Impossible, a Valorian medic said. Improvised, Hannah corrected. We humans are good at that. Yuna set up electronic warfare stations. She taught Valorian technicians how to jam Krath signals, how to send false data, how to make the enemy see things that were not there. Your people think in clarity, she said. The Krath think in patterns. We will give them noise, static, confusion, make them stumble. The next Krath attack came 3 days later. This time, the Valorians were ready. They did not form neat defensive lines. Instead, they hid in buildings, in rubble, behind barriers. The Krath drones advanced, expecting the usual retreat. Instead, the Valorians opened fire from multiple directions. The drone sensors could not track all the targets. They spun in confusion. Yuna activated her jamming signal. The Krath communications scrambled. Drones crashed into each other. Some fired at their own units. Now, Taiho shouted. Minho's heavy weapons team emerged from cover. Plasma cannons roared. Explosions tore through the Krath center formation. The Valorians followed the humans' example. They concentrated fire. They did not spread their shots. They picked targets and destroyed them completely. Kalshar led a squad in a flanking maneuver. It was not beautiful. It was not perfect. But it worked. His team emerged behind the Krath line and fired into their rear. The drones could not respond fast enough that the battle lasted only 2 hours. The Krath retreated. It was the first time the Valorians had seen the machines withdraw voluntarily. Kalshar approached Taiho after the fight. His light pulsed with bright white. Excitement. We won. We actually won. You did well, Taiho said. But that was a small force. The real test is coming. I do not understand your people, Kelshar said. You speak of fear, yet you do not show it. You speak of impossible odds, yet you fight anyway. Why? Taiho cleaned his rifle as he spoke. Because someone needs to. Because running away just means dying somewhere else. Because maybe, just maybe, we can make a difference. That is enough. Your logic is strange. Humans are not always logical, Taiho admitted. But we are stubborn. We are adaptable. And we do not give up. Ever. Hannah joined them. She looked tired but satisfied. Casualties were light. 20 Valorians wounded. 3 humans. Everyone will survive. This new combined approach is working. Minho walked up, grinning. The big guys are learning. Did you see that synchronized fire? Beautiful. Deadly beautiful. Yuno was the last to arrive. She carried a datapad. I have news. The Krath Central Nexus ship is in orbit. If we destroy it, the entire swarm in this system will lose coordination. Can we reach it? Kelshar asked. Not with conventional tactics, Yuna said. Taiho smiled. Good thing, we stopped using conventional tactics. Show me what you have got. They gathered around the datapad. A plan began to form. It was dangerous. Maybe impossible. But as Taiho had said, humans did not give up. And now, the Valorians were learning not to give up either. Vulthar watched from the command center. His officers reported victory after victory. Small ones, but victories nonetheless. The humans had been on Crystal Haven for only 2 weeks. In that time, everything had changed. They are teaching us more than tactics, he said to his aide. They are teaching us hope. And hope is the most dangerous weapon of all. The shattered spires stood at the edge of Crystal Haven. Once, they were beautiful towers where Valorians studied the stars. Now they were ruins, broken pillars, collapsed bridges. But they controlled the valley approach to the city. Whoever held the spires controlled the main route for ground forces. Taiho stood at the highest point, looking through binoculars. Minho was beside him, checking his weapons. Kelshar had brought 3,000 Valorian soldiers. 200 humans joined them. Against them, Krath scanners showed 50,000 drones approaching. The numbers are very bad, Kelshar said. His light flickered orange. Worry. Yes, Taiho agreed. But numbers are not everything. Mathematics says we cannot win. Minho laughed. Mathematics never met humans. We are really bad at math when it comes to giving up. Hana set up the medical station in the deepest part of the ruins. It was protected by thick walls. Wounded could be brought here. She had both human and Valorian medics working together now. They had learned from each other, shared techniques. We will be ready, she told Taiho. Yuna positioned her electronic warfare equipment at 3 points around the spires. I can jam their communications for maybe 10 minutes at a time, she said. Then I have to let the systems cool. Use those 10 minutes well. Taiho gathered all the commanders, human and Valorian together. This is simple. They come through the valley. We hit them from above. From the sides. We make them bunch up. Then we make them pay. What if they go around? A Valorian asked. The terrain is too rough. They would take days. They will come through here because it is fast. They think they have the numbers. They think we will run. Taiho looked around at all of them. We do not run. Not today. Not ever. We hold this ground. Understand? The humans shouted their agreement. The Valorians pulsed with colors. Red for determination. White for unity. Even some purple, which meant acceptance of death. They understood this might be their last battle. But they would fight anyway. The Krath came at dawn. Thousands of them. They filled the valley like a silver river. Their metal bodies reflected the morning light. They moved in perfect formation, efficient, relentless. "Hold," Taiho whispered into the radio. "Let them get closer." The craft advanced. They reached the kill zone. Taiho waited one more second. 2, 3, now. Explosions ripped through the valley. Minho's team had planted charges the night before, hidden under rocks, buried in the ground. The craft formation shattered. Hundreds of drones fell. "Fire!" Taiho shouted. Every weapon opened up at once. Plasma cannons, railguns, energy rifles. The Valorians fired from high positions. The humans fired from concealed bunkers. The craft could not find all the targets. They fired back, but their shots hit stone and metal. Yuna activated her jamming signal. The craft drones suddenly lost coordination. Some stopped moving. Others fired at random. 10 minutes of chaos. Kelshar led his squad down a side passage. They emerged behind a group of confused drones. "For Crystal Haven," he shouted. The Valorians had learned human battle cries. They found that shouting helped. It focused the fear into action. The drones fell. But more kept coming. Always more. The craft did not care about losses. They just sent more units. Hour after hour, the battle continued. The humans and Valorians held their positions. When ammunition ran low, they shared supplies. When sections were breached, they rushed reinforcements. When someone fell, others took their place. A young human soldier named Jiwan was pinned down by 3 drones. His rifle was empty. A Valorian named Suho jumped in front of him. The drones fired. Suho's body cracked, but he absorbed the shots long enough for Jiwan to reload. Together, they destroyed the drones. Suho collapsed. No, Jiwan said, trying to help him. "Go," Suho whispered. His light was fading. "Keep fighting. That is what humans do, right?" "That is what we all do now," Jiwan said. Tears ran down his face. But he picked up his rifle and returned to the line. Hana worked without stopping. Her hands were steady, even as the ground shook from explosions. She saved Valorians and humans both. Some wounds were too severe. She held their hands as they died. Human hands. Crystalline hands. It did not matter. They were all soldiers. They were all fighting together. By afternoon, the situation was desperate. They had held for 8 hours, but casualties were mounting. Ammunition was nearly gone. The craft kept coming. Taiho was wounded. A piece of shrapnel in his shoulder. He ignored it. "Status? East wall is failing," a lieutenant reported. "We need reinforcements." "Send everyone we can spare," Taiho said. "That will leave the center weak." "I know. Do it anyway." Minho appeared, covered in dust and blood. Not all of it was his. "We are running out of everything. Ammo, explosives, luck. Then we use what we have left," Taiho said. He grabbed his rifle. "Come on. We hold the center ourselves." They rushed to the weakest point. 20 humans. 50 Valorians. Against thousands of drones pushing through. It should have been impossible. But they formed a line. Shoulder to shoulder. Human and Valorian together. "On my mark," Taiho said. "Concentrated fire. We take them one at a time. We do not break. We do not run." The drones charged. The line held. Every shot counted. Every second mattered. They fought not with elegance, not with precision. They fought with desperation and determination. Kelshar stood beside Taiho. His body was cracked in 3 places. He should have been in the medical station, but he refused to leave. "I understand now," he said between shots. "This is what you meant. Stubbornness." "Yes, Taiho said, firing. Welcome to being human. We are not human. Today we are. Yuna's voice came over the radio. Their reserves are pulling back. They are retreating. No one believed it at first. But slowly, the craft stopped advancing. The drones withdrew. The valley grew quiet, except for the sound of fires and the moans of the wounded. They had held. Against 50,000 drones, they had held the shattered spires. Taiho sat down heavily. His shoulder throbbed. Minho sat beside him. How many did we lose? 40 humans. 300 Valorians. Came the report. Too many. But they had won. They had proven something important. They could fight the Krath and win. Velther arrived by transport. He walked through the ruins. Saw the bodies. Human and Valorian mixed together. Saw the exhausted survivors. Saw the impossible victory. He found Taiho. The galaxy is watching. News of this battle has spread. Everyone wants to know about the humans who do not surrender. We are just soldiers, Taiho said. No, Velther said. You are more than that. You are teachers. You taught my people something we had forgotten. How to fight. How to hope. How to refuse defeat even when defeat seems certain. Taiho looked out at the valley. At the destroyed craft drones. At his soldiers treating each other's wounds. Human hands helping Valorian bodies. Valorian light healing human injuries. Then we are not done teaching, Taiho said. That Nexus ship is still up there. And we are going to bring it down. The memorial stood in the center of Crystal Haven. It was made of both human metal and Valorian crystal. Two materials. Two species. United in purpose. Carved into it were the names of everyone who had died. 40 human names. 700 Valorian names. Taiho stood before it, his hand resting on Minho's name. 3 weeks had passed since the Nexus explosion. 3 weeks since his friend had run into certain death to save everyone else. The wound was still fresh. Hannah stood beside him. She looked tired. She had worked day and night saving the wounded. Both species. She had lost some, saved others. It never got easier. He would have liked this memorial, she said quietly. He would have said it was too fancy, Taiho replied. He would have wanted something simple. A rock with his name on it. Maybe a bottle of beer. Then we will visit it with beer, Hana said. When we can find some in this system. Yuna joined them. She carried a data pad. Always working. Always analyzing. The galactic news networks are covering the battle. Everyone wants to know about humanity. We are famous now. We did not do it for fame, Taiho said. I know. But it matters. 3 other species have sent requests. They are facing Krath invasions too. They want human help. Taiho looked at her. 3? At least. Maybe more will come forward. We showed the galaxy something important. The Krath can be beaten. That has given everyone hope. The ceremony began at sunset. Thousands of Valorians gathered. The remaining human soldiers stood in formation. Velther approached the memorial. His light pulsed with deep blue. Sadness, but also gold. Gratitude. We were a dying people, he said. His voice carried across the square. We had accepted our fate. We believed defeat was inevitable. Then came the humans. They did not come because they had to. They came because we asked. They fought beside us, bled beside us, died beside us. They taught us that surrender is a choice, and we can choose differently. He turned to the human soldiers. Sergeant Minho Choi gave his life to destroy the Nexus, but he did not die in vain. Because of him, Crystal Haven stands. Because of him, millions of Valorians live. Because of him, we remember what courage truly means. Kelshar stepped forward. His body was still cracked from the battle, healing slowly. "I fought beside Minho," he said. "He was brave, stubborn. He refused to give up. He taught me that strength is not about being invincible. Strength is about standing up when everything says to lie down. That is humanity's gift to us. That lesson, that spirit." Nari spoke next, the small communication specialist. "Humans are strange. They are soft. They break easily, but their spirits do not break. They adapt. They improvise. They find solutions where we see only problems. We Valorians will carry this lesson forward. We will not forget." Taiho was asked to speak. He did not want to, but he stepped forward anyway. "Minho was my friend," he said simply. "He was a soldier, a good one. He did his duty. All of us who wear this uniform understand the price. We pay it willingly, not because we love war, because we love peace. And peace is worth fighting for." He looked out at the crowd. Valorian faces, human faces, different species, same purpose. "We came here because you needed help. We will leave knowing we made a difference. But this is not goodbye. This is the beginning. Humans and Valorians, partners, allies, friends." The ceremony ended with a moment of silence. Then the Valorians began to glow. All of them. Every body in the square lit up with brilliant colors. It was their way of honoring the dead. The humans stood at attention, saluting. Two different customs. One shared respect. Later that night, Taiho sat in the command center with Velther. They were alone. The room was quiet. "What will you do now?" Velther asked. "Some of us will stay," Taiho said. "Train your military. Help rebuild. The rest will return to Earth. Report on what happened here. And the requests from other species?" Taiho was quiet for a moment. "That is above my rank. Command will decide. But I think we will help. That is what humans do. When someone is in trouble, we show up. Even when the odds are impossible. Especially then." Velther pulsed with warm colors, affection, respect. "You have changed us. My people were scholars, artists, dreamers. Now we are also warriors. We will never forget what you taught us." "Then teach others," Taiho said. "When you see someone in need, help them, stand with them. That is the real lesson. We are all better together." 2 days later, the human transport ships arrived. Most of the human soldiers would leave, return home. Taiho, Hannah, and Yuno were staying. They would help train the Valorian military, establish protocols, build the alliance. The departure was emotional. Humans and Valorians embraced. They had fought together, suffered together. That created bonds that would never break. Jiwan, the young soldier who had fought beside Suho, stood with a group of Valorian friends. "I will come back," he promised. "This is not goodbye." The Valorians pulsed with agreement. "You are always welcome here. You are honorary Valorians now." As the transport ships lifted off, Taiho watched from the command center. Kelshar stood beside him. "What happens now?" the Valorian asked. "Now we build," Taiho said. "We prepare. The Krath are not defeated everywhere. Other threats exist, but we face them together." Yuna entered, carrying her ever-present datapad. New intelligence. A species called the Taurians. They are facing a Krath invasion. 3 colonies at risk. They are asking for help. Taiho looked at her, then at Kelshar, then at Hannah, who had just arrived. "Well?" Hannah asked. Taiho smiled. It was that same determined smile from the first day. "Then we better start preparing." "Kelshar, how many Valorian soldiers can you spare?" 2,000. Maybe more. Good. Yuna, find out everything about the Taurians. Their capabilities. Their weaknesses. What they need. On it. Hana, prepare medical supplies. Mixed human and Valorian equipment. Already started. Kelshar pulsed with bright colors. You would do this again? Risk everything. Someone needs to, Taiho said. We showed the galaxy that the Krath can be beaten. Now we show them how. Besides, we made a promise. When someone needs help, humans show up. And Valorians, Kelshar added. We stand with you, always. Outside, Crystal Haven was rebuilding. The scars of war were slowly healing. Children played in the streets, both human and Valorian. A new generation growing up together. Learning from each other. In the memorial square, someone had left a bottle of beer next to Minho's name. No one knew who, but it made Taiho smile. His friend would have appreciated that. The galaxy was watching. News of the battle had spread everywhere. Humanity was no longer unknown. They were the species that refused to surrender. The warriors who came when called. The stubborn, relentless soldiers who turned impossible odds into victories. More requests would come. More battles would be fought. But that was okay, because now humanity did not fight alone. They had allies, friends, partners who believed in the same things. As Taiho looked out at the restored city, he thought about Minho's last words. This is what humans do. We finished the mission. The mission was not finished. It was just beginning. But that was fine, because humans were patient, determined, relentless. And now, so were the Valorians. Together, they would show the galaxy what it meant to refuse defeat. What it meant to stand together. What it meant to hope even in darkness. Defeat was inevitable. They had been told. Until the relentless human soldiers arrived, and everything changed.